Hi, this is Demont and you are watching Salesforce Introduction to Custom Application. So in our previous video, we have learned how to create record type and control the pick list value for specific object based on different record type. Also, we have learned how to assign different page layout for different record type. So in this video, we learn how to write workflow, how to create trigger, in which case we should write trigger, which case we should write workflow. First of all, we'll create one logo for this application. So to attach logo with this application, we have to go to document, and you can create one folder based on the application, bank application related image files, and logos will be available here. And so we have created one folder, and in this folder we are going to add one document logo with the name as bank application app logo, and there should be one unique name which should not contain any underscore, and this is the checkbox which will indicate that you cannot share this externally and out of the organization, and this is indicates we can use this to access this image outside of the organization, like using REST API or something like that, any API. So we choose the file here, this is the file, and also you can use any URL for that, and you click save. So this is the logo has been, the image has been uploaded. Now we will use this image for this application's logo. So we go to setup, go to app, click on this app and choose an image from this folder, and we save. So we can see now it's having specific logo. So this is how we can set one application logo for specific application. Now we are going to create different transaction. So before we go for a specific transaction, we select the account, this account. So this account is in the name of James Jordan, and account type is saving. Now this account has just created and it's holding balance of 0 and its status is active. So we need to deposit $500 for this, and the transaction is today. Now we need to specify the customer ID for this account. So how we are going to get the customer ID? Customer ID is stored into this account. So this is the customer ID. Now this customer ID will have to be told by the specific depositor who is depositing this amount. But how do we validate that this is the customer ID is specifically exist for this customer account's customer information? So for this we need to create one validation rule. So to create validation rule, we go to setup, we go to the object, go to this transaction object, and go to the validation rule, and in the validation rule we create new. So we provide one name as organization, and then check customer ID. So it's the abbreviation. So in description you need to provide to validate customer identification with customer details identification, and we insert one field as current transaction objects customer ID field is not equal to customer transaction, then customer account, then account, and this customer ID field. So its relationship is like this, that they will append R and ID. So not, it should be different field, I guess, and customer ID. Now we provide the name error as invalid customer ID, and in the field we provide on the field, in this customer ID field we provide the error. Now we go to the transaction, create a new transaction, deposit, and we select customer account, and we provide the customer ID as a wrong ID. We change it to 1, and if we try to save it, we get this error that invalid customer ID. So it has to be same as this. So if we provide transaction amount as $500 today's date and provide the correct transaction ID and try to save, it will save this record. Now we performed this transaction, but the balance has not yet been updated. So how this can be updated into the customer accounts balance? So for this we need to create one flow which will update this value. So we can use process builder for that, but before that we tried with this workflow where we can set the we set the record type as deposit and transaction date less or equal to today. So we now we are going to create one action for that, the field update. But in field update we don't see any reference field for that to update, because to use the cross object reference field update, it is necessary to have the master detail relationship between parent and child. As we have the lookup relationship for this, we cannot use workflow for this transaction, for this field update. We need to update the value in the customer account based on the transaction record is created. So that can be accomplished using trigger. But if we are going to trigger to write code all these, that will be not the best practice, because to use the best practice we should always follow the configuration first. So for this you need to understand what are the different way of this task can be accomplished, to understand how much capability of the configuration has, and if this functionality is not possible using the configuration, then we should go with the customization. So this is not possible currently using this using this workflow. So for that Salesforce is providing process builder. So it is newly introduced process builder where we can update the parent field using this. So we create one new process builder with the name as deposit transaction and provide the description as for deposit transaction update customer account balance from transaction amount, and we save it. So one process builder, one process is created. Now we need to understand the flow, how does it work. So this process flow name is this, process builder name is this, and it start first and work on the object. So we need to choose which object it will work on. It will work on transaction. So the start process functionality contains is like it will create only when the record is created and only when the record is created and edited. So this is the two simple functionality has been provided based on a specific object record creation. We are just going with only when the record is created. Now we click on save. So this is the object it will work on based on single record is created. Now we are going to provide the criteria as it should provide a criteria name is that CDMNA and criteria date and record type transaction. Okay, so it will check the record transaction record type and transaction date. So if conditions are met, so we can use the formula as well. So it will check based on the or and condition, that if transaction date is not less than or equal to, but first we check if this can be used by this or not. So first it checks record type, and record type name equals to deposit. Okay, so it is developer name, it's checking the record type developer name. And another is, if transaction date less than or equals today. Okay, and here is the conditions, any of the conditions, I mean it's and or you can use customized logic, that which one would first, 1 or 2 and 3, like that. So we select this one and we click on okay, it should be, I think this. Okay, so for this we use this as formula, and in the formula we write today and use this formula. So we click on save, so it will save this condition, and we need to provide one action. So action would be update a record, and action name is update balance, update customer account balance, and we choose as the record related to transaction C. Here the record is related as this, so the record should be in customer account, and we update the records that meets the conditions. And here we no criteria, it just update the record. Okay, now here we set the value for the record we want to update. Here the value should be balance, and it should be formula. So we build the formula is like transaction amount plus it should be balance plus transaction amount. This balance, customer account balance plus transaction amount. So we delete this one. Okay, so we created this one and use this formula. So balance should be this, and we save it. So you can see that this is the value, it should be updated, and we activate this now. And for false, no action, and there is no schedule as well required for now. And we go to setup. Now we perform the transaction. On the deposit, we select the record which need to be updated. Transaction amount is 500, today's date, and customer ID is correct customer ID, and we save. Now transaction amount has been created. Now if we go to this, we see the balance has been updated with 500. Now in this record, if we go to this, we see this 500, but we don't see any transaction created here. I mean transaction details is there. So we need to modify the page layout to see how this transaction look like. Transaction type, transaction date, and transaction amount, and we don't have to modify here, and we click on okay, we need to modify here as well, and click save. Now you can see on this date transaction amount 500 has been deposited to this account. So the balance is now this. Now if you want to provide the new transaction of deposit again, we provide the transaction amount as 1000 this time, and transaction name for example below, and customer ID is this, which is incorrect, so we get this error, invalid customer ID, and we provide as correct customer ID and we save. Now we see the amount has been, balance has been increased to 1500. Now this is how we are creating the deposit. Now we need to provide as withdraw from this account. So for that we are going to create another process builder. Withdraw, we need to create one validation. Now we create the validation rule where check customer balance. If the customer balance because if it is less than transaction amount, then it would be difficult to, it will not allow you to deduct the amount. So it would be like customer account balance minus transaction amount not less than 0. So transaction amount should not be greater than this currently holding balance. Okay, insufficient fund, and also we need to add another condition as and this, and another condition is that customer transaction record type name equals to this. Okay, so this is the developer name and this is the condition, so that for deposit it should not hamper. So this is the functionality. Okay, now we save this, so that for deposit also, if you try to insert the balance, that is 2000, you will see that is not hampered. But if you try to withdraw, more than this 350001 and try to save it, you will get this error. Okay, so this is the validation check has been done during creation. So what is the formula it will evaluate is that the record type name equal to withdrawal. Okay, so for withdraw this will be executed and we save this. So criteria has been added. Now we are going to use the action. Action would be update a record and which record it would work on, the related record of customer account. Okay, and don't have to use any criteria, just update the value. So which field it would be update? It will update the balance. Use the formula field as customer account balance minus transaction amount. Okay, so it will deduct the customer account balance and with the transaction amount, and the validation has been set previously, so it not be a problem. Okay, so we save it. Okay, sorry, it should be no criteria, and here we should use the date, use the formula field as customer account balance minus transaction amount. Okay, and use this formula. So we save it now. Okay, so action has been set and we activate this. Now if we perform any transaction, from this account of amount 500, transaction date is today and customer ID is this. So in this account the current holding balance is 3500. Now we are going to deduct 500 from there, so we can see how much balance it's holding now. It's 3000, and these are the different transactions. So 3 deposit and 1 withdraw on this date. So it looks like one application currently. Now we are going to create another is transfer. So it will deduct from this account and will deposit into this account. Okay, based on this transaction date. So the customer ID is still, validation is still valid, and transfer to transaction amount should be greater than 0. So it is also valid. It has been written globally, the validation rule. Now the check we have to make is that this customer account balance should be greater than the transaction amount details. So we can add the validation this, click on edit, and we add one or condition here. Okay, or condition as this record type name is transfer. Okay, so it will execute based on this condition that transaction amount should be greater than should not be greater than the holding balance, and this is for withdraw and this is for transfer. Okay, so this is the withdraw balance. So for transfer also the amount will be deducted from this account and will be deposited to another account. So for deposit, so it should be like withdraw and deposit, both function working simultaneously. So for that we first save it. So validation has been written this way, and we are going to create the process builder now. So it should deduct the balance and save, and it would add another action. It should add the amount to transfer to. So transfer to balance would be added, and if we will save, so it will execute two action based on this criteria and activate. So currently this process builder has total 3 action for deposit for transactions. So if we go to the transaction and we currently use this account, so first we go to the account, customer account. Here we modify the view first, account, which account it is related to, and account type, current balance, and active. Okay, so in the transaction also we need to check one another validation is that check active to check if transaction account is active or not. So we check by this customer account this active is equal to true. If it executes, it provides, it's throw an error, then it will be like unable to perform transaction, account is inactive on the field this customer account, and we save. Now in the customer information, this is the account. So in this account we have total 3 account. Now we create another savings account for this customer, normal account, and account type is savings, balance is currently 0, and it's active. Save. So we first deposit some amount, transaction amount, for example $500, and transaction date is today, and we need to find out what is the customer information for this. It would be same as this, so we save it. Account is inactive, so we need to activate this account first. Sorry, this one, but it seems active. Okay, we need to modify the validation rule. Okay, is equal to false. So if the account is inactive, then it would be throwing this error, because when validation rule executes, it throw the errors if the criteria is true. So it was checking if this criteria is true, as when it was true, so that was it was providing this error. Now it set to false, so if account is inactive, then it will throw this error. Now we perform the save. So the balance is now having 500. Now for example this account, so this customer wants to transfer some balance from this account to this account. So it goes to new transaction, transfer. So it's from this account to this account. Transaction amount is, for example, 1000, and transaction date is today, and click on save. So transaction has been done 1000. Now if we go to this account, we see the balance has been updated as 1500. This so we go to edit layout, we modify a bit here. From this account we transferred of amount this to current account. Save. So we see 1000 amount has been deposited to this account, and the balance currently in this account is 2000, because this transfer has been made of rupees 1000 to this account. So if we update this one, refresh this one, okay, this one is different. Okay, the amount has been updated as 1500. So this is how we can create one bank application easily, and we can understand the process builder application, how does it work. So it's more advanced of workflow. So it's a very good application. So thank you, please subscribe.